Howdy students, Mr. Anderson here. Okay, today's video is all about setting up like a game where you're going to be picking up items to keep score. So we're going to look at creating items that you would pick up and making those appear and disappear as you want them to, and setting up a variable that will count or increment as you pick up those items. Okay, so I've got my cat here and I've already set up I highlight him and I've set up the code to have him move around, so I've got it all ready for him to move around. And then I used the sprite paint editor to create this little green dot. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and make a bunch of these, and by right clicking on them I can just duplicate. Okay, duplicate, duplicate, duplicate. Okay, so I've got 5 of those now. So I'm just going to spread these out here. Okay, now I'm going to make it so that when I start my little game, my cat always starts here in the middle. Okay, when you have a game, you always want it to start the same way. You don't want it to start different ways. So I say, okay, when the green flag's clicked, we tell it go to, and it already has populated the location of the cat. And you can see right here, he's at x 10, y is negative 22. And here it says x is 10, y is negative 22. I'm going to do the same thing for all of these dots and give them a starting place to go to. When the green flag's clicked, under motion, go to that. Okay, let's do this for all of them. Okay, 2 more. And last one here. Okay, now we want to make it so that when the cat, whoops, something's funny with his, oh, I didn't change this one to down. Yeah, I gotta make sure that you have all your arrow controls going right. Okay, now it's working. Now we want to make it so that when he comes up here and touches this green thing, he picks it up. We're going to create a variable, make a variable for all sprites, and we'll call this green dots. And it doesn't matter what you call it. Okay, so now we've got this variable, and we want to tell him, we're going to set up a forever loop that's always checking if, we'll put an if inside of it, if, under sensing, we'll say if touching color, we can say touching color or touching certain sprite. If touching this color, then we want to change green dots by a +1, so we'll increment that variable, and then we're going to tell it to wait for 1 second before it does it again. Okay, so now we've made it so that we also want to tell it to set green dots to 0 when we start. Okay, so now it says, okay, we'll come up here. Oh, we need to push on the green flag here. Push on the green flag, it puts him over there. He cruises over here. Okay, and we see that it incremented by 1. Okay, I'm going to cut this part of the video off right here, and just watch for part 2 where we make the dot disappear and he goes through and collects all of them. Okay, so this is part 1 of this video of keeping score, and Mr. Anderson signing off. Okay, so this is Mr. Anderson here, and just like I promised, here's part 2 of my little video on keeping score. So we have our cat that moves all around. We've got our little green dots that when it goes up and touches them, the score increments. Now we want to make it so that they'll disappear as he picks them up and the score increments, okay? So we'll click on the green flag there and it resets the score to 0, puts him in the middle, puts all these dots where they need to be. Okay, so on each green dot we're going to set up a forever loop that checks to see if they're touching the cat. So we'll just throw a forever and then an if. Under sensing, we'll say if touching. Right now our cat, we didn't give it a name yet. We can go up here and just say cat. So this will say if touching cat, then we're going to tell it to, under looks, hide. When you start dealing with hide and show, you always have to make sure what you want it to do right when it starts. So when we start this little game, we do want it to be showing. But if it touches a cat, then we'll have it hide. And we want to throw, we can just duplicate this part of the script is the same for all of them. So we'll just duplicate it for all of them. That saves us some time from having to write it from the ground up every time we want to add something. Okay, so we're going to come in here, we're going to connect this, and then we have to throw that show in at the beginning for each one. Connect it and show. 2 more here. Okay, so now we have it that when we start this, we move him around. If you're looking down here at my score at the bottom of my screen, okay, it changed by 1 and the green dot went away. Changed by another, the green dots are going away, and I picked them all up. Oh, you notice, did you see that? This is good that I'm showing this. That last one, it didn't actually count. And you know why it didn't count? It's because we told the cat that as he picks these up, he waits 1 second before it checks again. And I cruised along really fast to that last one, and I picked it up before my cat checked again. Okay, so you might need to change this wait to be like, I don't know, 0.5 seconds or something like that, depending on your game, so that it accurately keeps score. And yeah, if we don't have any wait at all, it usually will increment 2 or 3 times. So instead of just going up by 1, it would go up by 2 or 3 points, because it can do that very fast. It can keep checking. But anyway, so we reset this. Let's see how it works now. If I just go up here and I cruise through. Okay, yeah, see, this is working right. Okay, so that was a good little example of some troubleshooting that happens sometimes. You know, always going to make little changes to your code depending on what's happening in your game. Stay tuned for a next video where I'm going to go ahead and set up a background for this one and call it a level 1, and then after he collects all the green dots, it goes ahead and switches to level 2 with a new background. As we create games with multiple levels, you'll need to be able to implement that with backgrounds changing and maybe more dots occurring or a new bad guy or something like that. Okay, so this is Mr. Anderson signing off.